Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a profound privilege to address this distinguished gathering today as we commemorate the International Year of Cooperatives 2025 to reaffirm that the cooperative model is not merely a form of enterprise, but a vision for a more inclusive, sustainable, and equitable world. At the outset, I'm deeply grateful to Honorable Minister of Cooperation of the Government of India, His Excellency Mr. Amit Shah, for his valuable message, his inspiration and support. We are also thankful to Ariel Enrique Guarco, the President of the International Cooperative Alliance, for his message and support. We are very pleased to co-organize a special commemorative event together with Mongolia and Kenya, the co-sponsors of UNGA Resolution 78/289, through which the General Assembly proclaimed 2025 as the International Year of Cooperatives. I warmly thank my dear friends, the permanent representatives of Mongolia and Kenya, for their support and readiness to be partners for the event. We are also thankful to Colombia, the DPR of Colombia is here, and to the Special Representative to the UN and Director of ILO Office for joining us, and look forward to your remarks, Madam, on the important role of cooperatives in achieving SDG goals. Mr. Deepak Agarwal, the Managing Director of NAFED, the National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, an apex body of cooperatives, has traveled from India to be with us today and to share an Indian cooperative story highlighting the spirit of collaboration and shared ownership. Thank you, dear Deepak, for joining us today. Friends, the proclamation of the International Year of Cooperatives invites us to amplify the cooperative model's proven role in driving inclusive, democratic and human-centric development across the globe. The values of cooperative enterprises make them directly relevant to sustainable development. Cooperatives are sustainable and successful business enterprises that contribute directly to employment generation, to poverty and hunger eradication, to education, social protection, affordable housing, and financial inclusion. As noted in the Secretary General's latest report on cooperatives, globally, there are about 3 million cooperatives providing employment to 10% of workers worldwide. And the 300 largest cooperatives in the world generate over $2 trillion in revenue. Friends, the spirit of cooperation runs deep in our civilizational ethos. Ancient Sanskrit texts speak of sahakara or cooperation, sahayoga or mutual support, and samuhik kalyana or collective welfare. The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi's ideas of Sarvodaya or welfare of all and Swavalamban, self-reliance, shaped a model of social and economic development built on dignity, decentralization and shared responsibility. His vision of Gram Swaraj or village self-rule placed economic power directly in the hands of the Indian people. India's cooperative movement stands firmly on this moral foundation. The cooperative sector in India is very old and dates back to 1904, much before our independence. We enacted then a Cooperative Credit Societies Act. After independence, the sector retained a prominent place in India's 5-year plans. The milk cooperatives under the leadership of the pioneering Varghese Kurian changed India's milk landscape from a highly deficit country to the world's largest producer of milk, with 239 million tons of production last year. We also amended the Constitution to give the right to form cooperative societies as a fundamental right to our citizens, as a right to freedom under Article 19(1) of our Constitution. In addition to this, we also inserted promotion of cooperative societies as one of the directive principles of state policy in our Constitution, which serves as a guideline for governance. Today, India has over 800,000 cooperative societies, with 300 million people being associated with the cooperative sector. They have played a significant role in various economic sectors such as sugar, fertilizers, fisheries, and milk production. India has also seen significant growth in urban cooperative banking and housing cooperatives. Today, cooperative banks across India hold deposits of over $139 billion. Friends, we envision a significant role for cooperatives in our future growth. In recent years, my government has worked to transform the entire cooperative ecosystem, undertaking numerous reforms. We have created a separate Ministry of Cooperation in 2021 to unlock the full potential of this sector. Driven by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Sahakar se Samriddhi, or prosperity through cooperation, the Ministry of Cooperation coordinates reforms, promotes cooperative-based economic development models, and creates appropriate policy, legal, and institutional framework to help cooperatives realize their potential. Last week, India adopted a new national cooperative policy with a 20-year time frame until 2045. It's aimed at reviving and modernizing this sector. It focuses on simpler regulation, stronger governance, new sector expansion, more importantly, use of emerging and advanced technologies, and better access to finance. Women-led development is one of our cornerstones in our national growth. India's cooperatives are powerful engines of women and youth empowerment. Women play a significant role, constituting 60% of the cooperative sector. We have numerous women-led cooperatives that have become a source of strength. Young entrepreneurs are creating cooperatives in renewable energy, logistics, digital services, and innovation sectors. We also have a number of self-help groups which have evolved into cooperatives, and they are a foundation of rural development and financial inclusion. Today, 100 million women in India are members of these self-help groups. They have received loans of over $104 billion at low interest rates from the government, enabling them to generate substantial wealth in villages and rural areas. To support this momentum, we are investing in cooperative education and capacity building. Earlier this month, India established the first national-level cooperative university, the Tribhuvan Cooperative University in Gujarat. This university will prove to be an important step towards empowering cooperative institutions by promoting innovation, capacity building, and best practices, improving governance, and accelerating inclusive and sustainable rural economic development. Technology is also reshaping the way cooperatives serve their members and connect with the market. India is digitizing 63,000 primary agricultural credit societies through a unified software platform to improve transparency, efficiency, and service delivery. We have integrated cooperative societies with an information technology-enabled ecosystem, connecting them with district and state-level cooperative banking institutions. We are leveraging modern technology, including artificial intelligence, to establish a strong supply and value chain for our farm cooperatives, connecting farms to kitchens and to markets. Through platforms like the Open Network for Digital Commerce, we are offering cooperatives a new medium to sell their products. This platform enables cooperatives to deliver products directly to consumers at minimal cost. The Digital Government Electronic Marketplace platform is also proving highly beneficial for cooperative societies. The UN Secretary General's latest report on cooperatives gives the example of a deep tech decision intelligence company of India called SatSure Sage, which has developed applications that assist lending institutions in making decisions about agricultural loans based on information about smallholder farms. It uses artificial intelligence in combination with satellite data and location intelligence to quickly find all necessary information, allowing lenders to scale up and cater to farmers while reducing their operational costs. Dear friends, globally, cooperatives support the livelihoods of over 1 billion people and contribute actively in every major sector, from agriculture, finance, housing, health, renewable energy, thereby supporting SDG achievement. Yet, many cooperatives in all of our countries around the world do face some common bottlenecks, like limited capital, low visibility, and weak institutional support. We all need to work for better data, stronger legal frameworks, improved digital access, and more professional training. Global partnerships can help close these gaps. Sharing knowledge, building cooperative-to-cooperative linkages, and investing in innovation is vital to take the cooperative movement forward. The International Cooperative Alliance has been a driving force behind the global cooperative movement. India is proud to be a long-standing partner, and we hosted last year their Global Cooperative Conference in New Delhi, launching the UN's International Year of Cooperatives and adopting the New Delhi Action Agenda. We stand ready to implement this agenda at home. The ILO has also played a very important role in supporting cooperatives. In particular, Recommendation 193 on the promotion of cooperatives provides a strong normative foundation for governments to enable cooperative growth. Let me conclude, dear friends, by underlining that cooperatives are more than economic entities. They are helping millions out of poverty to access markets and to take control of their economic resources. They are showing how business can be fair, democratic, and inclusive. As we celebrate the International Year of Cooperatives, let us work to move forward in solidarity and purpose. India remains committed to provide its full support to further strengthen the cooperative movement globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to begin by thanking my dear friend, the esteemed permanent representative of India, Excellency Ambassador Harish, for putting this together. A few weeks ago, in May of this year, the permanent missions of Kenya and India co-hosted in this very room an event to mark the International Tea Day. And the role of the farmer, of the tea farmer, in the growth or the success of our tea sectors as members of cooperatives was very important. It's therefore very opportune and quite uplifting again that the permanent missions of Kenya and India are co-hosting the event this morning to mark the International Year of Cooperatives. Let me also thank my dear friend, Ambassador Nyamdor of Mongolia, for joining us as co-hosts of this event. Together, the three of us, as well as other colleagues and missions, consider ourselves partners in virtue because of the partnership in promoting the cooperative agenda. Excellencies, one of the defining characteristics of cooperatives is that they are member-centered and democratic. They are institutions for the people and by the people. And these characteristics in themselves make cooperatives the perfect channel for sustainable development that truly reflects and responds to the needs of the people. For more than 100 years now, cooperatives have remained a key driver of socioeconomic development in Kenya, with their positive impact reaching a vast majority of people, particularly in the agricultural and financial sectors. Just as in India, in Kenya we have a dedicated Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs. We also have a Cooperative University of Kenya, which is one of the largest public universities in the country. As if that's not enough, public service vehicles in Kenya can only operate if they are registered under a cooperative society. And one of the most profitable banks in Kenya is the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. So I highlight those examples to demonstrate to you the centrality of the cooperatives movement to the social and economic life of our country. The reach of the cooperative movement in Kenya is demonstrated by the fact that cooperatives now control slightly more than 30% of the national gross domestic product of Kenya. And trends indicate that this influence continues to grow, especially in the provision of savings and credit services. These savings and credit cooperatives, also known as SACCOs or credit unions, have mobilized savings of approximately $9 billion. By pooling these resources, cooperatives provide much-needed financing to micro, small, and medium enterprises that would not otherwise access such funding from traditional banks. The impact of cooperatives in Kenya and beyond is clear. They help to create jobs, stimulate local businesses, build resilient economies, and retain wealth within the community. As rightly noted in the Secretary General's report on cooperatives in social development, workers and members of cooperatives always attain a higher social and economic outcomes than the national average. In other words, those individuals and groups that are members of cooperatives actually end up attaining better social and economic outcomes. What more incentive can one look for rather than being a member of a cooperative? In addition to creating decent jobs, cooperatives also contribute to greater social inclusion and eradication of hunger and poverty by improving outcomes for traditionally excluded groups such as women, youth, older people, persons with disabilities, and indigenous peoples. And the example, perfect example from India, has demonstrated that. Towards ensuring the success and relevance of the social and solidarity economy, it remains essential to ensure true ownership of cooperatives among the public, including with regard to their successes. It is therefore important that we continue using the International Day of Cooperatives and various high-level engagements to tell impactful stories such as the ones we've had from India, Kenya, and as I'm sure we'll hear from Colombia and Mongolia, and indeed other countries, of the contribution of cooperatives to those who need them most. We therefore urge all partners, member states and beyond, to continue proclaiming the role of cooperatives in social development and to further make every effort to create a suitable environment for their success both nationally and internationally. The commitments of the recently concluded Financing for Development Conference will be faster realized if, as a global community, we create space for cooperatives to be at the center of the implementation of the Compromiso de Sevilla. The upcoming World Summit for Social Development provides yet another suitable platform to foster international collaboration in this regard, and Kenya has continued to lead the call for the appropriate platforming of cooperatives at this critical summit. Excellencies, as we look ahead and in the context of transition into a new era of technology and artificial intelligence, it is important that the role of governments and public agencies with regard to cooperatives remains a facilitative one. The social and solidarity economy has many of the answers to the challenges of sustainable development, and all we simply need to do is to allow the appropriate space for cooperatives to work. Our efforts to build a better world must ultimately include cooperatives because, as the theme of the International Year of Cooperatives reminds us, and as His Excellency the Prime Minister of India said at the launch last year, which has been relayed to us by the Honorable Minister, cooperatives build a better world. I thank you.
Thank you. My good friend Ambassador Harish, and my good friend also Vikitilia, and also Ambassador Esteban from Colombia. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Mongolian delegation is very pleased to be co-sponsor of today's special commemorative event together with India and Kenya. You know, the International Year of Cooperative 2025 is already halfway through. Thus, as building stronger and more resilient communities and leading with sustainable values are inherent in the cooperative business model, it is also worthwhile celebrating the achievements of cooperatives, promoting awareness of the socioeconomic contributions, and exploring pathways to strengthen and sustain the cooperative movement in the years ahead. This event presents us an opportunity to position the cooperatives as critical actors in advancing sustainable and inclusive development, particularly in the context of the International Year of Cooperatives and preparations for the Second World Summit for Social Development, which emphasizes poverty reduction, eradication and employment, decent work, and social inclusion as a key pillars achieving the 2030 agenda. I'm sure that these kinds of events and discussions will strengthen a broad coalition of social and solidarity economy entities for sustainable development and the building better world. On today's theme, I would like to discuss the importance of youth involvement and technology and innovation as a new approaches for cooperatives and sustainable development. First, the role of cooperatives in supporting implementation of SDGs is paramount, and it's particularly pivotal in reaching marginalized groups such as persons with disabilities, indigenous peoples, and youth. Today, there are 1.2 billion young people aged from 15 to 24 years, accounting 16% of the global population. By 2030, the number is expected to reach 1.3 billion, increased by 7%. The youths are driving force for development, and they need more just, equitable, and progressive opportunities and access to education, health, gender equality, and employment. Cooperatives are a business type model which can provide decent employment for youth and that can absorb them into the labor force. Second, according to the World Economic Forum, 25% of the small and medium-sized enterprises identifies that keeping up with technology and innovation as one of the most difficult challenges. In general, new service-based models offer companies more cost-effective options and allow SMEs to take advantage of access to new technologies by paying fee or subscription. However, SMEs and cooperatives still face barriers such as limited and financial human resources, inadequate access to essential infrastructure, and the absence of long-term vision and strategies regarding data management, privacy protection, and cybersecurity. Therefore, we need to attract more young men and women to cooperatives as they could be driving force of future cooperatives in transforming the use of science, technologies, AI, and bringing innovative solutions for improving the current value chain cycle of products and services. Distinguished delegates, Mongolia has come a long way from being state-controlled and managed enterprises for 7 decades into transferring in the beginning of 1990 to free market-oriented, community-owned enterprises for the last 30 years. Just, listening to the discussions, I grew up in the countryside and I delivered the milk in the morning and then in the afternoon to the delivery center so they can be redistributed to the center of their provinces. Back then, all job was done local government. Now it's the communities are themselves doing it. Currently, there are more than 4,700 cooperatives in nationwide Mongolia, with the predominant numbers are operating in agriculture and livestock sector. The government policy in this sector is to stabilize small and medium enterprises and cooperative development, increase finances, and improve competitiveness and market expansion, and introduce clusters, training, incubation, and advanced technology. The government and development partners are supporting the use of new technologies and innovation into activities of cooperatives. For example, in 2019, the UN in country office introduced blockchain technology program with cooperatives and herder communities in Mongolia for creating sustainable market value chain for cashmere. In April 2024, the government of Mongolia launched the new cooperative and welfare herders program as a part of the implementation of law on mitigating the negative effects of climate change on traditional livestock husbandry. Under the program, herders who become members of cooperatives will be given 5 trillion Mongolian currency in soft loans until 2029 in collaboration with the commercial banks. And this year, 5 billion Mongolian Toguruk in loans will be issued. Furthermore, there is a good basis for focusing on youth as the population of the country is relatively young, with the average age being 27.5 years, and about 59% of Mongolia's residents are under the age of 30. The youth outreach has been put in place to increase the number of youth in agricultural and other cooperatives, provide work opportunities of interest to youth, enhance awareness about the cooperatives, and meaningfully use the talent of youth. For instance, youth in provinces are encouraged to form small groups and have their own activities. The National Association of Mongolian Agricultural Cooperatives is engaged with various ministries in charge of cooperatives and has signed MOUs with the universities to provide lectures on cooperatives and agriculture and provide opportunities for youth to experience cooperatives and hold competitive events among the youth. These are some practices and success stories from our country, and I was happy to learn from India and Kenya as well. And I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. I want to thank Ambassador Harish for his invitation to participate and to ask us to share Colombia's experience and vision regarding the transformative role of cooperatives in advancing sustainable development. Also, my deepest regards to Ambassador of Kenya and Ambassador of Mongolia, and as well as the very, very timely presence by all here in this meeting. As we move towards the end of the International Year of Cooperatives, we welcome this timely dialogue of how to maintain momentum, how to explore new avenues. That's why when Colombia fully supported the proclamation of this year under the theme Cooperatives Build a Better World, we thought about our own experience, and we really think that cooperativism is also a driver to peace. In Colombia, cooperatives are not just economic actors. They are social institutions deeply rooted in our communities. They are engines of solidarity, resilience, and inclusion. We are actively contributing to the global roadmap set by the International Cooperative Alliance, as mentioned by his leaders, and have established a national committee led by the Colombian Federation of Cooperatives in partnership with government entities and regional networks. I want to first share some reflections regarding our own experience on how to contribute to this global conversation. First, cooperatives are drivers of inclusive development. Cooperatives in Colombia are present across sectors. They support 4.4 million members and manage assets in the millions of dollars. I'm not going to say numbers because numbers from India are staggering. But beyond numbers, they represent a people-centered model that promotes mutual help, equity, and participation. Our current government has given renewed and explicit importance to cooperatives within the National Development Plan. Far beyond their role as financial intermediaries, cooperatives are recognized as a trusted allies in advancing inclusive social transformation and creating what we know is one of the main concerns in our societies in Latin America and the Caribbean, that people access a banking culture. And not necessarily a banking culture is the first step, but cooperatives are. When cooperatives are created and they grow based on what their savings of their own members are able to create as new development, that's a way to create in our societies in Latin America and Caribbean a culture of cooperation and a culture of a banking system based in solidarity. Cooperatives foster financial inclusion. In Colombia, 5.8 million microenterprises account for 39% of total employment. Yet most operate informally and lack access of affordable credit. In this context, financial cooperatives, as well as microfinancial institutions, play a key role. They offer microloans, lower interest rates, support local entrepreneurs, and promote savings within communities, as I mentioned before. As part of our strategy for the popular economy, a core pillar of our National Development Plan, we are strengthening the cooperative ecosystem to better serve informal and community-based enterprises. This includes improving access to interoperable digital payment systems, enhancing financial education, and recognizing the legitimacy and scalability of cooperative financial services. Cooperatives in Colombia and the popular economy build bridges with excluded sectors. Colombia has embraced a broad definition of the popular economy. It includes small-scale producers, street vendors, artisans, care workers, and other traditionally excluded from formal systems. We have established a national council for the popular economy and are promoting associative models to help these groups organize, access markets, and secure livelihoods. In this effort, cooperatives are strategic allies. Through the creation of regional associative circuits and solidarity networks, they are helping to integrate rural and urban communities into productive ecosystems. They offer not just services, but a sense of belonging, dignity, and collective purpose. We strongly believe in Colombia the transformative power of cooperative education. In 2024, Colombia launched a national initiative to bring cooperative principles into schools and universities, which was mentioned before. Today, over 100 schools offer curriculum on solidarity, democratic governance, and entrepreneurship, and 52 universities have joined a new network for cooperative education. Colleagues, cooperativism has to be understood as a driver of many things that are in danger today. Gender equality, the power of women associations, the power of how community-driven ideas are the key piece in Colombia to foster a new development. As a mission in the United Nations, we are struggling right now to understand why things like the Agenda 2030 or gender mentions are a difficult subject, as mentioned, of words, and not gone to the concept of what Agenda 2030 means to many of us. That's why we salute cooperativism as a key role of creating solidarity, of creating that common ground that women 1,000 kilometers from the capital city of Colombia, or many of our capitals, have a means to understand how to create development by associating themselves, creating a cooperative, and creating a better livelihood. We firmly believe in Colombia that we have to pass from assistencialism to knowledge sharing. And that knowledge sharing has many shapes and forms, one of them being cooperativism. I'm very, very sure that a woman in India, a woman in Kenya, in Mongolia, has many things to say to a woman in Colombia, or for that purpose in Latin America and the Caribbean. Many lessons learned based on solidarity. Colombia is in need of many, many projects that brings us to this long hope peace that we need in Colombia. And peace is achieved through solidarity and through the development of our people. In Colombia, we are committed to moving from words to action, but we know we cannot do this alone. We need global partnerships between governments, multilateral institutions, civil society, and the cooperative movement. Let us seize this International Year of Cooperatives as a platform for transformation, because cooperatives help us build the world we want, more just, more human, and more united. I thank you.
Thank you. Excellencies, colleagues, delegates, it's an honor to participate in this important discussion on the role of cooperatives in advancing sustainable development. I commend the permanent missions of India, Kenya, and Mongolia for organizing this timely event, welcome their very valuable insights, as well as the special representative of ILO to the UN. For Cabo Verde, a small island developing state, cooperatives have long played a crucial role in strengthening community resilience, enhancing local livelihoods, and promoting inclusive growth, from fisheries to agriculture, from artisanal crafts to women-led micro-enterprises. Cooperatives are much more than just economic vehicles. They are social anchors rooted in solidarity and mutual responsibility. As we navigate the complex path towards the 2030 Agenda and beyond, cooperatives exemplify the very spirit of partnership, solidarity, local ownership that sustainable development requires. They embody democratic governance, empower marginalized groups, and promote fairer distribution of resources. We believe that global cooperation to support and scale, as so well ILO underlined, and scale cooperative models is vital. This includes, and it was also mentioned by all the previous speakers, knowledge exchange, capacity building, access to finance, and integration into broader development strategies. In this context, we welcome the continued leadership of the ILO and other partners in advancing the cooperative agenda. Cabo Verde remains committed to strengthening the cooperative movement as part of our broader strategy for resilience, youth and women empowerment, and of course, inclusive green and blue transformation. Let us continue to champion this spirit and collective action locally and globally as we strive for a more just, sustainable, and inclusive future for all. Thank you.
Honorable Ambassador P. Harish, Permanent Representative of India to the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Erastus Ikitele Lorkale, Permanent Representative of Kenya to the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Ankabear Namzor, Permanent Representative of Mongolia to the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Raul Esteban Sanchez, Deputy Permanent Representative of Colombia to the United Nations, Mrs. Cynthia Samuel Onjuwal, Special Representative of the United Nations, Director ILO Office to the United Nations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As a person who is relatively new to this sector, to speak before such an august gathering is a huge honor, but also a very big responsibility. Because cooperative represents a sector which is hope for our future, our shared future, the transformative powers of cooperative in achieving sustainable and equitable growth. In the words of our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, to the world, cooperatives are a model, but for India, it is the basis of our culture, our way of life. This worldview represents and becomes all the more relevant in this era of climatic crisis, increasing inequalities and economic instabilities, where cooperatives stands as a beacon of hope, resilience, equity, and sustainability. Cooperatives are not mere businesses. They are democratic institutions that embodies the principle of collective responsibility and shared prosperity while protecting the planet. In India, we had a rich legacy of cooperative movement even before independence. In fact, the cooperative movement was in the forefront of our freedom struggle against imperialism. Utilizing the farmers and workers, cooperatives contributed significantly to the Champaran Satyagraha of 1917 and Kheda Satyagraha of 1918, which gave birth to a new model of peaceful resistance to exploitation. Post-independence, cooperatives became a key pillar to India's developmental strategy. Today's India's cooperative sector is one of the world's largest, with over 800,000 cooperatives and over 300 million members. From the dairy revolution led by Amul to agriculture market stabilization by NIFID, cooperatives have shown that people-centric economic approach are not just a utopian ideas, they are achievable and profitable. In the year when the United Nations have declared this year as the International Year of Cooperatives, we find that there is a natural alignment of some of the SDGs with cooperative movement, be it no poverty, zero hunger, decent work, reduce inequalities, responsible consumption and production, climate change, all find resonance with the objectives of cooperatives. A few numbers from India in terms of their contribution to various sectors would amply demonstrate that. Agriculture and rural development, banking and financial inclusion, sugar and production and dairy, the cooperative sector contributes almost 30 to 35% to this GDP. Coming to the organization I represent, which is NEFID, which is an apex level cooperative society of the various other state level cooperative society. We last year procured 4.2 million tons of food grains from farmers directly and transferred about 7 billion rupees to their account electronically with a click of the button. The entire identification process is through a unique ID, which we call in India Aadhaar. And we earned $56 million in profit, out of which 15% dividend was paid to the around 800 odd state level cooperative society which are member of our organization. Amul, a well-known name in milk, has a turnover of around $10 billion, has 3.8 million farmers, most of them which are women, and shares the $250 million surplus which is generated by it. IFCO, or Indian Farmers Fertilizers Cooperative Limited, is not just India's largest fertilizer manufacturer, it is world's 5th largest fertilizer manufacturer. It has 55 million farmers as members through 36,000 cooperative societies. It has a turnover of around $6 billion and now produces 15 million tons of urea and NPK, and not only gives it to the societies but also to the private sector. A relatively small but a very, very meaningful all-women cooperative society which manufactures a very popular snack in India called papad has 45,000 members and generates around $250 million annually. It's an all-women cooperative society. These numbers are just to show that cooperatives are not just socially transformative, but they are also commercially viable. And cooperatives are not just about balance sheets. They are also showing how eco-efficiencies can be built into our business model, from promoting climate-smart agriculture to reduction of methane gas emissions through innovative cattle feed programs. Cooperatives are in the forefront of this fight against climate change. They are becoming future-ready also with adoptions of digital tools, automations, AI-driven solutions to improve efficiencies. NABARD has embarked on a program which actively promotes digital transactions in rural cooperatives. AI-based soil testing and market trends are providing predictive analytics to the farmers. Drone technology and remote sensing is now being used actively for crop monitoring, creating a new breed of rural entrepreneurs. Whatever I have said till now must not lead us to believe that there are no more challenges in cooperatives. We are facing a lot of challenges in terms of management issues, to corruption, nepotism, NPA, supply chain issues, and most importantly, the apathy of youth to join this sector. The government recognized this well in time, and to address this challenge, the present government under the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi formed the Ministry of Cooperation, as just was told by the minister before, that in 2021 we had a separate Ministry of Cooperation under the able leadership of Mr. Amit Shah, who is a veteran in this movement coming from Gujarat. To achieve the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, we have given a vision of Sahkar se Samriddhi, means prosperity through cooperatives. And to fulfill that, the ministry has brought about a strategy document called this new National Cooperative Policy 2025 to serve as a guiding light to all the cooperative organizations. It is also, as was said by Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Minister, that there are 3 umbrella cooperatives which have come, and they are not doing as if they are exporting themselves. They are making the other cooperative society who produces organic products or seed production and bringing under the one platform and exporting them to various countries and also providing seeds to the farmers across the country. Presently, the ministry is engaged, as was told by the Honorable Minister, the world's largest decentralized food storage program. What is this program all about? It is basically incentivizing and providing policy level and some financial support to this primary agriculture credit society, which are the cutting edge of our cooperative movement, to build small 500 to 1,000 metric ton godowns at the village or at the taluka level, which is called the subdivision level. And then all these organizations like FCI or NEFID or NCCF will be giving them hiring assurance, and that will provide some financial stability to them, but also will make robust our supply chain issues. And this will also help us, because nowadays what happens is we procure food, and then for the fair price distribution system, we again transport it back to the village. So they can serve as both as a collection point as also a distribution point for our various social sector schemes. Now the packs have been motivated to not just go away, do the traditional businesses, but also venture out into new businesses. Like they've been given license for the pharmacy stores. We have a Jan Aushadhi Kendra, which sells generic medicines through Government of India scheme. So they've been given the licenses for that, for gas agencies, for petrol stations. So all these pacts are becoming more and more financially stable. The future plan includes, as it's a very interesting plan, having a Sahakar taxi, that is a cooperative taxi services in India, where the drivers will be in the center of the entire business model, and he or she will be able to maximize the benefit of his labor. So a sector which was doomed as a dying sector by some of the economic thinkers not just a few years ago is on a cusp of not only survive, but is on a cusp of ushering a new silent revolution. As India strives to become the world's third largest economy, the contribution of this sector to the GDP would go to around 30%. India's G20 presidency highlighted the role of cooperative in promoting the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is one earth, one family, one future. It is imperative, therefore, that the global cooperation among cooperatives can be ushered in form of either a global cooperative innovation fund and a global cooperative knowledge exchange. Mahatma Gandhi ji once said, the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. Cooperative embodies this wisdom by placing people over profit, cooperation over competition, collaboration over exploitation, and shared well-being over isolated gain. As our ancient scripture says, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashit dukha bhagaved, meaning, may all be happy, may all be healthy, may all prosper, and no one suffer. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Cooperatives.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, start off, moderator, you called my name very well. You pronounced it very well. Same thing with you, Ambassador. So that's great. Let me thank Ambassador Harish and the PR of Kenya and Mongolia, the partners in virtue. I will use that, because we always talk about partners in crime. So it's good to know that the right word that I should be using is partners in virtue. And I'll say it's your copyright, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to join you today on behalf of the International Labour Organization, the only UN agency with a specific mandate to promote cooperatives and the broader social and solidarity economy. We meet at a time when the Secretary General has called for a course correction across the 2030 agenda. The 2025 SDG report is blunt. Only 35% of targets are on track, while nearly 1 in 5 have regressed. The ILO very strongly believes that cooperatives are a concrete part of the solution. And everything that has been said by all those who intervened before me, I 100% agree. And I will not repeat what has been said, particularly by Ambassador Harish. A lot of the substantive issues around the economic contribution have been put on the table. Cooperatives are already active across all the 6 collectively agreed upon transitions, which have been identified as having catalytic effects to turbocharge all the SDGs. And these 6 transitions were clearly reiterated by the SG in his 2025 report on SDG implementation. And what are the 6 transitions? Food systems, energy, digital transformation, education, jobs and social protection, and climate action. And very quickly, I will just provide a glimpse of how cooperatives are facilitating the movement of the needle in these 6 transitions. In food systems, cooperatives help smallholders have access to markets, reduce risk, and retain value. The MD of NAFED has given us very impressive statistics on what's happening in India. But India is not alone. So we have substantive evidence of how cooperatives are supporting the movement of the needle in terms of food systems, which is the first transition. The second transition, energy. Cooperatives have been shown to help deliver clean and affordable power through community-owned renewables. Third, digital transformation. They offer democratic alternatives where technology serves people and not the other way around. And we have a great example from India, very, very well articulated. Fourth, in education, they provide training that are tied to local needs and build local institutions that directly support community development. And they also contribute to meeting future labor market demands. Fifth, in jobs and social protection within the ambit of decent work. They are generating jobs. We got the statistics from Kenya, from India. The example from Mongolia, what was said concerning Colombia. Not only are they generating jobs, they're formalizing enterprises, a major challenge in terms of the world of work. They're widening access to social protection, especially for women, for persons with disabilities, and for young people. I was really very excited about the focus of Mongolia on young people within the ambit of cooperatives. And last but not the least, in terms of climate action, they support agroecology, circular economy models, in decent jobs in some of the most vulnerable communities. The ILO support for cooperatives goes beyond advocacy. It's embedded in policy and practice. Ambassador Harish already made reference to Convention 193. Recommendation 193. Recommendation 193 is the recommendation on the promotion of cooperatives, and it was adopted in 2002. I'm pleased to inform you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellences, that more than 120 countries are shaping their policies and national laws anchored on Recommendation 193. As the Ambassador Harish said, it remains the backbone of our normative guidance. However, our support goes beyond policies and advocacy. We also support implementation very actively. I'll start with Kenya, not just because of the virtual, right? We've helped to strengthen cooperative governance and introduced alternative dispute resolution tools, which are now being rolled out nationwide, in addition to the very, very important issues that the ambassador highlighted. In India, in Colombia, in Sri Lanka, in Zimbabwe, our pilot work on cooperative care models is helping create decent jobs in the care economy, while expanding services to those who need them most. In Mongolia, we supported policy dialogue on the social and solidarity economy. But the important thing about this is that the process was informed by national data and grounded in local realities. Across Africa, I'm pleased to state that we're working very closely with the African Union, where we've had landmark SSE mapping exercises in countries like Nigeria, Zambia, DRC, Madagascar, and these are now informing the national strategies and improving institutional coordination. At the global level, we're working with partners to build the statistical infrastructure to measure the contributions of cooperatives and social and solidarity economies through new guidelines on cooperative statistics and methodologies, all to ensure that we're able to succinctly track the economic weight of cooperatives and social and solidarity economy. From all our work, there are three lessons. First, cooperatives deliver results. We've had the results. And there are many more around the table. But they deliver results only when policies recognize and support them. Kudos, chapeau to India. for what India has done in terms of effective backup on policies. Second, their potential is greatest when they are grounded in local realities and needs. Third, unfortunately, their contributions remain undervalued. Until we count them, until we support them, until we scale them up, we will not get the best out of cooperatives. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased that the Seville commitment adopted by FFD includes several references to supporting SSEs and cooperatives. And has been stated by the ICA president and by the PR from Colombia, the upcoming World Summit on Social Development is really an opportunity for us to refocus on these lessons and to do so at scale and with greater solidarity. Please let me repeat that, to do so at scale and at greater solidarity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, you can always count on the ILO as your trusted partner in all these processes, as well as ensuring that the inclusive and sustainable action is taken to translate our aspirations to reality. Even though it's end of July, let me wish you a happy International Year of Cooperatives. I thank you.
Estimados representantes de la Misión Permanente de la India en Naciones Unidas, quiero saludarlos y felicitarlos por esta iniciativa que han tenido de convocar a un evento tan significativo. Aprovecho esta ocasión para expresar también mi agradecimiento a las misiones permanentes de Mongolia y de Kenia por su continuo liderazgo en la defensa del movimiento cooperativo en la ONU. Quiero, asimismo, acercar mi saludo a todos los funcionarios de gobierno, a los representantes de la ONU, a los líderes cooperativistas y a los aliados clave de nuestro sector que los están acompañando en esta jornada. Sé de la importancia que tiene esta convocatoria porque, en primer lugar, conozco de manera directa el papel preponderante que tiene nuestro modelo socioempresarial en la República de la India. No es casualidad que de manera reciente haya sido lanzada en la India la Política Nacional de Cooperación. Es una demostración más del compromiso de ese país con el fortalecimiento del sector cooperativo, tanto a nivel nacional como global, y sirve de modelo para otras naciones que buscan impulsar el desarrollo inclusivo a través de los principios cooperativos. El lanzamiento del Año Internacional de las Cooperativas que estamos transitando tuvo lugar en noviembre en Nueva Delhi, ni más ni menos que junto al primer ministro Narendra Modi. Allí realizamos también, albergados por el movimiento cooperativo indio, la Conferencia Global de la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, que es la casa común de todos los cooperativistas del mundo. Desde nuestro lugar, queremos seguir tejiendo alianzas con distintos actores públicos y privados para hacer efectivo el llamado de las Naciones Unidas y seguir construyendo juntos un mundo mejor. Como bien señalan ustedes en esta convocatoria, urge avanzar en la reducción de la pobreza, la generación de trabajo decente, la integración social y el crecimiento económico como parte de una estrategia de desarrollo sostenible en cada país, en cada región y a escala global. Por eso quiero alentarlos y poner en común los frutos de este encuentro y trabajar codo a codo para aprovechar este momento histórico que vivimos y superar juntos los desafíos que tenemos por delante. Fundamentalmente debemos aunar esfuerzos para que los estados apoyen y garanticen que las cooperativas sean reconocidas explícitamente en la declaración política de la Segunda Cumbre Social Mundial que se desarrollará en Doha el próximo mes de noviembre. Allí, la Alianza Cooperativa Internacional, junto con las demás organizaciones que integramos el Comité de Naciones Unidas para la Promoción y el Avance de las Cooperativas, el COPAC, celebraremos la clausura oficial del Año Internacional de las Cooperativas y presentaremos un plan de compromiso global a los líderes cooperativos y mutualistas reunidos en el CM50. Esta agenda de acción describe nuestras prioridades compartidas y nuestro compromiso inquebrantable de acelerar la implementación de los Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible en esta recta final hacia el año 2030. Es por eso que resalto nuevamente este encuentro convocado hoy por la Misión Permanente de la India en Naciones Unidas. Estoy seguro que será una jornada muy fructífera en el contexto global que estamos atravesando. Les agradezco que me hayan invitado a compartir este mensaje con ustedes y les envío a la distancia un fuerte abrazo cooperativo.